Welcome to this daily guided meditation practice. This is the Attentive Mind. My name is Nathan, and I'll be guiding you through this meditation practice today. Find yourself a seated position. The goal with the position is to find something both sturdy and comfortable. You don't want to be uncomfortable during the practice because then you'll just be distracted by your body during the practice, which is unnecessary. You also want to have a sense of stability because it gives us a sense of groundedness, of being here, telling our body that we are here to stay. So sitting in a chair achieves those goals, and of course sitting in a formal meditation posture also achieves those goals. Just find what works for you. There's also an option to keep your eyes closed or open during this practice. It's up to you. And if you prefer to close your eyes during the practice, go ahead and close your eyes. But if you prefer to keep your eyes open, leave the screen alone and drop your gaze gently down below you. Maybe just looking at the floor or the desk or whatever is just below you. We're not staring or analyzing at a particular spot on the floor, but we're also not zoned out and blurry. We have a gentle gaze directed softly, yet clearly downwards. You're in a comfortable and sturdy position, and your eyes are either closed or open, gaze directed softly, yet clearly downwards. It's not so easy to just sit down and be still, because we've built up so much momentum through the day. It keeps us going, wound up, excited, busy. So as you sit here, notice any kind of feeling of anticipation, expectation, antsiness, wanting to get to the next moment. This is how we usually are. But right now, you are here. So begin to notice what is here. Noticing the sounds around you. Noticing body sensations, and emotions. What you smell, what you see, all happening here. And as you notice this moment and begin to recognize what's here, see if you can begin to allow this moment. In other words, letting things be as they are without interference, judgment. And as we allow this moment, bring your attention to the sensation of your breath right here. And just gently follow this rhythm as it happens here and now. Notice how, as the breath comes in, the belly and the chest gently expand. And as it leaves, it contracts. Right here. And I'm probably catching you now thinking, following some thought into the future or the past, worried about something. Back to the problems. And notice how, when you're thinking, the breath is no longer seen. This moment is lost. Stillness is covered up. So the next time when you get lost in thought, use the breath as an anchor. Gently return attention to it, but not forcefully. Let your attention land there like a feather lands gently on a countertop. Just come back to the breath and leave this next thought alone. And maybe I'm catching you again. This is okay. We're not judging ourselves here. We're not trying to become good at this. We're just returning to the breath for no reason at all. Watching it like we watch the ripples of water on a river during sunset, gently rising and falling. And maybe you're caught up again, which is okay. Return to the breath. And it's important to know that we're not waiting for thoughts to be quiet in order for us to follow breathing. We allow thoughts to come and go as they please. Just leave them in the background and let the foreground be your breath. Let thinking come. Remain with breathing as thinking happens, rising and falling. Wake up. These thoughts are not you. Leave them alone. Return to breathing, rising and falling. What sits here? What sees the breath? Be still and completely rest. All right, you can look at the screen. We complicate life way more than we need to. It's crazy. And I am probably the most guilty of them all. Because it's easier to react than it is to respond. It's easier to get shaken than it is to remain calm. And that's because, as always, we think that we are our mind, our thoughts. We pay such close attention to them that we believe that every thought that goes on, like, oh, I'm tired, I don't like this person, blah, 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 we feel like that's me talking. That's a me, a self. And because we're so attached to that, we're never really still. Because if you notice, the mind is always jumping around like a monkey, trying to get this, trying to get that, avoiding this pain, getting away with that, wanting this. I don't. Why is everything so happy? Why is everything happening to me? uh, you know, as Bob Marley says, every man thinks his burden is the heaviest. But we do that. We don't understand that we are not these thoughts, and so we are living a life of reaction. And of course, our thoughts are reactive because that's biology. The ability to think is a biological mechanism useful for survival and communication, but mainly survival. And because we don't use it as a tool, we are used by it. So, what do we do? What is this practice about? We become still to see what we are, to not react to what the mind is doing, but rather to remain calm in situations that arise. Because the real you is quiet, at ease, and calm. Thinking isn't. So with practice, we become still. And what that means is to just begin to stop reacting to everything that's going on in the mind and just noticing this moment. This moment, I hate these fancy words, but I love it, is stillness incarnate. Thinking is not. So when we come back to this moment, we become still. And when we become still, we can see the mind for what it is. It's running around. And you're like, oh, it's almost, it becomes this, you create some distance from it. And you see what it is, rather than being in it and running around with it and getting all worked up and frustrated and tired and wanting to meditate to become better. And I don't like this and I like that kind of thing. You just see it happening. You're like, oh. And then you can begin to let that go. But it's essential to understand with practice is that you can't just become still by trying, by holding your mind still. A lot of people try to become still by saying, okay, I'll be still. But they're holding on. It's like taking a glass of water. Or like, let's say I have water in this bowl, huh? And it's all rough and everything. It's just going around. And you're like, okay, it's still. And you try to hold it as still as possible. But you'll see that even though you're holding it, and maybe it calms down a little bit, there's still movement because your body is always subtly moving because you're holding it. And this is your mind trying to still it. Like, let me still my mind. I'm going to do it. I'm going to still it. Can't be done. No matter how still you become with your hands, there's always some movement around. So what do you do with the mind? You set it down. Leave it alone. And it'll happen on its own. but you don't set it down in order to still it, because that's more holding. Okay, I'm going to set it down right here. I'm going to hold it in order to still. No, you really, really leave it alone. Returning to this moment. And you remain still. And you learn to be calm. Thank you for your time today. And as always, and without exception, I'll see you tomorrow.